we're live. Sorry, everyone, for this technical glitch. It's one of the things we're having to deal with as we work from home. Everyone's on the internet, and you've got hundreds of millions of people using up the internet at the same time. So it's just one of the other things the government has to work on right now. But nevertheless, I'm super excited to have Latha Mohan, but more belovedly known as Latha Ma'am, with us live today. It's kind of, Lataji, I was just talking to, yes, we had Gurpreet, then we had Blossom and Nalini and Latha Kanchandani. And one of the points I keep reiterating is that this industry has really been founded on, the kind of on the backs and work of a lot of powerful, positive women, which is incredible. So this generation that was before us, there's some phenomenal women, including yourself and others who we haven't featured this week, that has really driven the community and driven this beauty and wellness industry. Be good before we start talking about you in particular. I mean, what do you think about that? Like, this industry really has, I think, been founded by strong women. So any reason, any thoughts on why that's the case?
Yeah, you have very pointed it out very precisely and exactly. Yes, it is more like a whole lot of women started this industry, which you really need to think that women are very strong, and when they want to do something, they do it right. I'm not saying it's the otherwise, but still I feel that, at least when I started, which is now going to be 38 years, this is the 39th year of the business. There were very few ladies who did it. And those days, we only had many Chinese salons. And they used to call it Chinese salons, basically Chinese who lived in Calcutta. They migrated to South, and they run the salons. So they, I suppose, had that from their family, and then they continued and they did it. And from somebody like a background with no hairdressing or any business concept, basically we don't have any business in the family. Everybody is doing something or the other, in the sense, this is something very unconventional, according to those days. Especially, it raised so many eyebrows. And I said, I'm going to start a salon. So anyway, having said that. Hello, are you? So when I started, there were a lot of challenges. And they said, you and salon business, I think, why do you want to do it? And so many questions. But then I basically thought it was something that had a demand, and there are not many players in the market. And of course, I had a passion on it. I wanted to do something on these lines. Therefore, I went and intro. You're saying why women? I think women who were urging to do something and had some basic interest and passion for this industry, that was the right time to get into it. So when I also got into this business, there were not many women who were by themselves running the business. It was all, like, as I told you, mostly from Chinese. Okay. So then I decided to get into the proper way of doing it. I was more interested in getting trained professionally. So I went to the Polytechnic. The government Polytechnic had a in Chennai, had a very basic course. In the sense, it's called beauty, and they used to call it cosmetology, where they used to also teach us how to make basic shampoo, how to prepare the wax, how to make a moisturizing cream, blah, blah. They had a little lab and all that. And pretty much those days, I must have been one of the youngest. That I'm talking when I was just about 20. And they were all mostly housewives and things like that. So they were doing it for more like a pastime. So this was a government organized, state government organized course, the Polytechnic course. So it was a 4 months course. And then I just said that more than just getting onto the line, let me learn it. So that's how I got into my first training in the government Polytechnic in Chennai.
Wow. What were you doing before that? You just finished college?
I did my college and got married when I was just about 18.
Yeah. Wow.
To a marine engineer.
Yeah.
And we were sailing in the boat, love boat. And then it was like I always had some sort of an interest in this line, in the sense, I would do the brides at home, and I would try to do some things. I had the urge to do something like this. So I told my husband that I would like to do something on my own and try it out. So he says, really, do you think that you're ready for it, or is your family ready for it? So I said, are you ready for it? He said, yeah, you go ahead. He said, you go ahead. So that's how we started. Then I started my salon in 1981, December 7. Okay. The first salon
in
1981, December 7.
Wow. So next year is your 40th anniversary.
4 decades.
Wow.
So then we started, believe it, because in a 10 by 12, that is 120 square feet place. So I had this opportunity also. My husband is a sailor, so I used to travel a lot with him on the ship. And once when the ship docked in Singapore, and it was endlessly docked in the sense they had a major issue. And therefore, I used to go and attend a class in Singapore on hairdressing and makeup.
Wow.
Okay. So the ship was stuck forever for about 6 months. So it was a blessing in disguise. So I went and attended those courses and everything. So I said, okay, I will do the skin. We hired a hairdresser those days, and she was a Vietnamese lady. When I started the salon, I'll do the skin in the sense I'll do the facial, I'll do the makeup and all that. The girl used to do the haircut. She worked in other salons and in one of those Chinese salons. So literally, you can say that I pushed her because I was not very confident with haircuts. So she joined me, and then we got a helper, like for pedi, mani, and waxing. So this is the team.
Yeah.
So we were 3 people, 3 men army, with just 3 women army. Sorry,
3 women army. Yeah.
3 women army. Myself, this hairdresser, and a helper who used to do the other work, like, get the wax ready and all that. So that's how I started my life in 120 square feet in way back in almost 40 years back, when beauty were a tab saying that, oh, it is not a very good business for family ladies to do and all that. But thanks to my husband, then slowly a family support, and then the children came in and just continued like that. And I was doing my work. And on and off, I used to sail. And when I used to get going abroad, I used to go and watch in the salon, see what's happening there. I mean, sometimes I used to, if I get time, if I could enroll into 2-3 days, some sort of an upgrading, I'll do it. Basically, my mind was tuned to that. So gradually, this place was from 2 clients a day to start with, or maybe no clients a day.
Yeah, like today's time.
Like today's lockdown.
Yeah.
We waited for a good 5 to 6 months, sometimes depressed, sometimes very, very sad whether I made the right decision. But then I said, I'm not going to give up. Let me go again. So we pushed it. And then suddenly we saw people slowly trickling into our salons. And then it sort of, in about 6 months to 8 months, more people, more referrals. 3 chairs were full. The treatment room was getting full. And those days we used to do pedicures in tubs. So this girl was also getting busy. So it was so overwhelming. And then, as I told you, that some days there won't be clients, and some days there will be absolutely no clients. And then there was the monsoons when the salons were all shut and everything. And we were sitting in the salon. They said, can we go home, ma'am? I said, 1 more hour, please. We'll see if somebody comes in, please. So he said, okay. And just as we were pulling down our shutters, that's one of my most memorable thing. When I was putting down the shutter, one girl comes in all wet in her umbrella, holding, and she says, can I have my arms waxed? I said, of course, open the salon and let's do it. So that was the spirit, and they said, okay, ma'am. I said, something at least. And you won't believe it, when we used to finish, our target was 180 to 200 bucks a day. The first 6 months.
Wow. So 180 to 200 rupees a day.
First 6 months, even if we made 200 rupees, I'd be very happy. So then we used to get them all bel puri or say puri or something from the nearby chaat shop. And then just funny.
Was that your incentive structure?
Yeah, just to keep them happy. 4 of us will have chaat and all that, and I'll go home. Then I got slowly, I started getting more and more clients. And so we had to open up the next place in the sense, it was like a crystal maze, my salon actually. It was 120 square feet salon. Then it became another 100 I got next to my salon. Just same wall. So break the wall, put some more stations. So we put some more stations. Then when you break the wall, you get connected upstairs so you can do more treatment rooms.
Yeah.
And then so finally it became from 120 square feet, something close to about 450 to 500. So
wow. After how many months or how many years?
About a year and a half.
Wow. Okay.
Year and a half, maybe not year, about a year and a half. Then I told Mr. Mohan to pump in more money, give me some money. So he said, are you sure? I said, so don't you see it's doing better? So he was said, okay, let's do it. So we connected it. We had then even putting air conditioners was a big expenditure, and then getting the separate connection with the power, extra power and all that. Initially, I did not have in my 120 square feet any air conditioners. Couldn't afford.
And that's in Chennai, where it's super hot.
Yeah, and very hot summers, yes. So then we had put air conditioners. We gave separate cubicles. Before, two used to be in a cubicle doing facials. Then we made separate cubicles, and we put pedicure base. So I learned a lot when I traveled, and I used to bring in little things to incorporate in my style of business. And therefore, slowly I got a very good client flow following who thought this place is safe. The question of safety was a big thing here for people to go to a known place, and people, and of course, because of my family and people know who I am, there was a lot of goodwill attached to my for my family who lived for years and years in Chennai and have a good connect. Okay, so they started saying, oh, so and so's daughter, so and so's wife. Okay, slowly, and suddenly we were so happy. We were going into 2,000 a day, 3,000 a day, 4,000 a day. We became so excited. And then came a day when we didn't have place. So we were thinking, is it a good idea to start a second one? So that's how second one started about 3 to 3.5 years after the first salon. And we went to a little more, see, the area I started was a bit conservative, in the sense there were more of people who were like very orthodox type of people. And people said, I will not do well. Everyone said you should have, even if you have taken the risk, you should have gone more to a center where it's more approachable by, this is like typical, like a very, Mylapore is considered as a very conservative part of Chennai. So then I went to the main street. Okay. Those days, this next salon was in the main street, means it was more on the main road, in the sense, more approachable.
But close by to your existing salon?
Maybe about 3 kilometers.
Okay, it's not too close. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that I gave me the courage to make it more better, more luxurious. We got about 8 to 10 staff. In the meantime, we were looking around for staff. The staff themselves were recommending their cousins. And those days, there were a lot of Vietnamese in our place. You know, Chennai was a hub for a lot of Vietnamese.
Wow, that's very surprising.
After the war, they had Indian connections from people who went from here. The parents, either the dad or somebody was an Indian, so they all got to come to India during the war, and then they were all getting into this beauty field. So you know how people were, they don't know who's Chinese, they don't know who's Vietnamese. I'm talking about the public. And they'll say, oh, you have so many Chinese. I said, really? Do you know what is a Chinese Vietnamese? I don't know. They used to be so, I feel so sorry. They used to only think of, I mean, with no, I'm not saying anything against it, but they always used to say, you have Chinese staff? Do you have Chinese staff? Even our own people, locals. So I started saying that, hey, come on, we have to get some local talents now. So the first student who was a local talent was my own father's driver's daughter.
What, your father's driver's daughter? Okay.
She finished school, and then she was apparently she didn't do well in school, or she didn't get good marks. So one fine day, he just got her to my salon and said, now she's yours, you take care of her. So I trained her, and you won't believe it, because she was one of the best beauticians I had.
Wow.
And she sort of she was only in beauty. She didn't know anything about hair because there was no question about people coming for hair, in the sense only this one girl or two girls used to cut hair. All the rest were excellent in beauty because I used to personally sit on their head and keep saying, come on, do it, do it. This is the way you do it. So we were very, very popular for our beauty services. Our pedicures were good. It was like a musical chair. People used to go and then the next round and next round. And coronavirus, we can't do it now anymore. So that's how the business started. And then this girl, I would like to mention, her name is Rosie. And she sort of was like still, I used to try to get local people. They always used to not consider it as a profession to take up. That used to make me feel sad,
Yeah.
Why can't we have so many? And maybe even now, if I have about 300 to 400 staff, maybe just about 50 to 60 will be our locals, or maybe maximum 70. I don't know. Still that it's getting better though. It's getting better. But the mindset is that only Chinese will do it. Okay. So it was like coming into a restaurant and asking, is it Chinese or Indian? I said, once I had a client who said, no, I will not do it with her. I'll wait. I said, give me a chance. Give me a chance. Let me tell her to do it for you once. And if you don't like it, I would return the money. She did the pedicure and the manicure with this girl and said, next time also, you please let her do my pedicure and manicure.
Wow.
So
I mean, that's also, and also you're having a massive impact on the community thinking, the racism, your staff and their families, because you're helping really break down these prejudices. So that's pretty incredible.
That was something which I really felt happy, because not because of anything. I think this is where I can afford to give a livelihood. And I would love to introduce some of our girls who are just finished school or looking at other avenues of growing in their life. Why not? So now I have some.
Yeah. And that it's actually, that's a consistent, so across all the legends we've interviewed this week, so from Nalini to Latha to Blossom to Gurpreet, they have this consistent message, and it's very, and maybe that's actually, I think it's much more of a female trait, this whole thing about compassion, empathy, giving back. They really have looked at how can they train and nurture and give livelihoods. And I think that's a very consistent message we're seeing across all of you this week, that this passion for giving and supporting others.
I think that was the way it started, and slowly the trend changed and more people started opting. But now it's better. Many young ones are taking up the industry because we need young blood. We need the next generation to come in there.
I know.
Full force.
But just even going back to, you setting up in 1981, obviously that was a tough time, because obviously India had just come out of the emergency period. It was a very dictatorship driven environment back then. Women didn't really, I think not many women studied, hardly any women were working. And like you said, it's okay, you're 18, you get married and you become a housewife. So you must have gone for a lot of struggle and battles with your own family and community. And a lot of women don't survive those struggles. They actually give in and just become housewives. But what was it that drove you to say, you know what, no way, this is my path and I'm going to break convention and do what I want to do?
See, I'm going to tell you something now. Marrying a sailor was a big advantage in that way. You know why? He was away for most of the time. I'm not being mean, I'm being practical. So he was away for almost a good 6 to 8 months a year. So that part of it I had to sort of, and he was a broad-minded person, and he said, no, you do it. I would love you to sail, but then if you're so interested, go ahead and do it. And also, if you tell me that, it was a challenge bringing up the children. I had a lot of family support, because at that time I was with my parents very close to me, because I was staying alone. So they were willing. They were the first grandchildren of the house. So all over the place, everybody to just get a chance to get hold of them. That was a big advantage for me till they went to school, that they were totally taken care of by my parents and my sisters and brothers. All, they were like literally doting on them. So it gave me so much of freedom to go to work and come when I feel like, in the sense, come late. Late, according to me, late to 6:37, I would be at home. So that was the timings we used to work. So family support is very important. And I thank God for that, because that helped me to sort of push it. And more, if my husband was there also, maybe I'll have to think of his office when he comes, and also 8-9 months. And then when he used to come, I used to just leave it with the seniors and just leave for about a couple of months, go here, visit his family, make a short holiday, and then come back. So things worked well for us that time until the children went to bigger classes. Yeah.
And when you went traveling for 2 or 3 months, your staff, I
used to trust them and leave the shop. And my sisters used to go and sort of manage and go and see if things are okay. And they used to, those days, no cell phone. So when the ship reaches a port, I'll call them and they'll say, you know what happened today? We made record business. I said, wow.
So they're like, stay away, you stay on holiday and we'll do record business.
Yeah. Perfect. And then they used to say the next port after another week, 10 days. And then I'll say, how did you all do the next 10 days? They said, yeah, people are coming. Things are getting busy and all that. So I was so excited to get back and see what in 2 months, so much of transformation, or 2.5 months. So like that, I used to manage my time in and out. But it all worked well. So far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, but it takes, like you said, a lot of perseverance, a lot of commitment, a lot of vision as well to look at what next, and keep pushing yourself to come up with new ideas.
Exactly.
Exactly. So were you one of the first kind of Indian-run salons or local-run salons back then when you started up?
Pretty much. In Chennai, yes.
So you didn't have any other kind of, apart from, you said, the local kind of Chinese, Vietnamese?
There was another couple of ladies who were also doing it. And at that time, they were much more older to me. I was just about early 20s and they were reached almost 40. And they were in the business for 3-4 years. And again, they had also sort of picked up and did pretty well. But no, I don't think they are in business at the moment.
But you didn't have any kind of real role models or icons back then to look up to domestically?
No, not really. I was very keen to do a course with Shehnaz Hussain.
Yeah.
So those days, Shehnaz Hussain, or even now, I mean, she was like a craze.
She was the original, I think, the original legend, what she did for the community.
She was one lady who was doing super, super good. And her products were so like happening. And that sort of put an idea into my head, like, why don't I bring that to Chennai? And then I got to meet her in Delhi and went to meet her in her office in Greater Kailash. And then she said that you South Indians don't believe much. You'll use haldi, you'll use coconut oil. You don't need all this. Is there a real need for a salon? In the sense like this. So I said, listen, I already have 3 salons that time. Okay. I was a little taken up. I said, no, it's not like that anymore. Everybody wants to do something. I mean, get better. And I think salons are taking a good direction. And I told her a little briefly about my background. And I said, I started with nothing. And now I have 3 salons. I have about 30-40 people working. Then she says, then I'll have to give you a franchise and then your name will change. Then my face dropped. I said, no, but I will not change my name. She said, why? Because that's the rule. You can't have your Kanya there. It has to be called Shehnaz Hussain's Herbal. But I said, what happens to my 6-7 years of hard work? I can't just put it on. And my brand is known as Kanya and it's pretty strong. I didn't want to tell her that you are not strong, South. But I said, I'll have to make Shehnaz a name now there and take the products. And I've been reading and learning and hearing about you. So I thought this will be a good idea. Then she looked at me and then she said, really, are you sure you want to keep the name Kanya? But then Shehnaz will be in big bold letters and you'll be Kanya down. So I said, whatever said and done, I'm not letting Kanya go. It'll be there if you let me. So she was very shocked. And she also told me something. I like the way you talk and I like the way you want to keep your identity. So you are the first franchise I'm allowing you to keep the name.
Wow.
Everybody used to shake and shiver to talk to her.
Yeah, you went head to head with Shehnaz. Not many come out after that surviving.
No. So I told her, can I please? Because then she said, okay, I respect you. I said, then she came to India and then, she came down to South for launching some of her product. And then she came around and saw our place and we arranged a coffee morning with all our clients. And she was very overwhelmed. And she said, wow, you guys are quite popular in Chennai. I said, yes. That time I was only in Chennai, okay? So I had about, by the time, 3 to 4 salons. Then Kanya maximum we touched in Chennai is about 6 salons. And we were more like a homegrown name in Chennai. Like everybody used to relate with a lady salon. Kanya is good. Kanya has good stuff. Kanya has managed well, blah, blah. So the goodwill was pretty good and very I think we were very keen on having the system, doing it very methodically, systematically, quality and even cleanliness and everything, because times I have been traveling, so I learn a lot. I try to see a lot. I try to bring whatever back home and see what way I can put it into our business. So that's how the growth started. So Kanya was rocking. He's rocking even now. We have good loyal clients still coming to Kanya, no matter how many salons are open. We have our clients and they say we are not comfortable going anywhere else. We're fine.
That's very good.
That's good for me.
Yeah, it is. And then also you went head to head with Shehnaz and came out strong, which also I think shows the kind of what it took to keep building your brand, keep working, keep fighting others, fighting for what you believe in. To because I've met Shehnaz as well. I've been to her house, and she is a powerhouse. So it's not easy to push.
Yeah. Initially, she was a little annoyed. She said, "How come?" Nobody's asked me this, she said. Yeah. But I said, "Can I please?" First I said, "Can you please consider?" Yeah. And she said, "Actually, I don't do it. You're telling me to change my rules." I said, "How can I just leave that?" And she liked the name Kanya also. She said, "It's a nice name. It's very relevant to what you're doing." But then I finally she agreed. So our contract is everything made. Shehnaz Hussein's Herbal Kanya, all the franchisements. So she put that, she agreed to put it. That was something nice of her also.
And that was one of the first professional brands you brought into the salon?
Yes. Wow. And then, of course, slowly started trying to, we didn't have anything available in India those days,
Yeah,
products, 80s, in the sense products, nothing. Absolutely very basic. Very basic stuff. And Multani Mitti and face bleach was the regular bleaching powder with the hydrogen and peroxide. No big time. Hair color was henna or Godrej was there that time also. The box dyes, we used to use that. And we had only 2 options, black and brown, dark brown, which was as good as black. So these were the colors we were using. So, and then what do? Wax we used to make at home, our own wax. Pedi mani and all, just a cream which was called a cuticle cream. Scrub was scrubbed and with the shampoo, and of course nail polishes also. Lakme, I think, started making polishes, and other brands, all sorts of, nothing great, but we managed. Pedi mani used to have. Then slowly we started getting people approaching us. Then L'Oreal came with the box dye first.
Wow.
And they couldn't even enter my salon because it's a ladies' salon, and 2 men pop in their head inside and they say, "Can we come?" I said, wait. Then I asked the lady, "I have a guest. Can I bring him in?" It was Ishan Datta and Shakti. Both of them came and they said, "We have a hair dye and all that." So I took the first lot of hair color. And they had also started with only a couple of shades, I think. And then we started with the box dyes, hair dye. And then slowly came the professional division, and then they approached us. We worked very closely and long number of years with L'Oreal, and I really appreciate a lot of things which they have attributed towards the group. And we did work hand in hand as partners for quite some time. And very instrumental for our growth, I can tell you, to a great extent.
Yeah, super. And then so after 6-7 years of Kanya, like what was the next part of the journey, for you and the group?
So it's like, say, I'm a good storyteller now. So what happens is, in the meantime, children are growing up and they want to go to college and school and all that. So Vikram and Pratna studied till high school in Chennai. I have a daughter and a son.
We're into the 90s now, right? So what, mid 90s?
We are in the early 90s, yes. These boys
early 90s,
yeah. Vikram is going to school, finals in 8th or 9th, 10th class, and you have to face the board exam and everything. And Pratna, my daughter, is 5 years younger too, so she was in the 8th or something. So things were going on like this, and then I was going on running between work, children. Then Mohan, my husband, comes and spends some time there. Okay, time management was difficult, but it was growing bigger. Sometimes I used to say that there's nobody to help me. I have to run everything. Now I started getting a little like complaining, nobody is there. I have to do it myself. And then I don't know, suddenly people were talking about Kanya can be grown as a big brand, we can invest and all. It was like Greek to me. I had no idea what was all this investing and trying to buy your brand and things like that. Because
who was that? Was that family or bankers, or who was then trying to put these ideas into your head about the next level up?
Approaching me.
Okay.
No family and all. They approached me. Then I came home and one day we were talking and they said, I was talking to family and casually I said, people are saying that they can invest in our business and all that. They said, what? You're becoming a big player or what? People want to invest. So I said, people want to do the brand. They want to take the brand. I don't want to mention, I'll tell you who it is later. So
yeah,
not now. So I went back home and said, now what do? I want to give it up or what? So that was the time when Vikram said, Mom, I think your going is good. So just hold on for some more time. Don't just be in a hurry and just give it away or whatever. So he was one of the persons who said, people approaching you, that means the brand is getting strong. So let's hold on to it for some time and see how it goes. So then they went and I was only running Kanya, and then I got an opportunity to go to Bangalore. Bangalore through, thanks to Health and Glow, Rahul was heading them. And Rahul, our Rahul.
Yeah.
YLG Rahul.
Wow.
So he said, would you like to open in Bangalore? So Bangalore is a territory I never entered. So I'm saying I'm in Chennai. Chennai would be a clash of interest. So they were running the Health and Glow stores. I don't know whether they still have it.
Yes. Oh, wow.
So as a value-added service to their clients, they cleared out about 300-400 square feet of their store area and gave me store-in-store concept, salon in the store concept. So that's my entry to
Bangalore.
Rahul, are you hearing? So Rahul was very initiative, took the initiative for that. And as usual, once you get into Health and Glow, the plan and offers and this thing, every week I used to go for meeting and I learned a lot because I don't know whether they learned, but I did learn a lot, how to give offers, how to go to the stores and do mehndi, bindi drawing, eye makeup, all this used to make us do in their stores, with our staff. So a lot of marketing techniques. He taught us how to make in people work. And then when I opened in Bangalore, it was in Indranagar and it was a 300 square feet behind their store. And
this is still under Kanya though. Still the Kanya brand.
Kanya,
inside
Bounce is nowhere in the horizon that time.
Okay.
So then he opened 2 other stores for us. One in Koramangala, 2 in Koramangala, I think. Rahul, correct me if I'm wrong. So 2 stores there. And suddenly I saw an overwhelming response. People saying, hey, Kanya's come to Chennai, from Chennai to Bangalore. Our clients who moved there were so excited. It's like literally coming to your mother's house or something. They used to see me and say, Auntie, you've opened here. We are so happy. And that also was doing well. Then they gave us 2 more outlets. So we had 3 in Koramangala, 3 in Bangalore. And that's when in 1992 or 3, I said, let me do one salon in Bangalore on my own. So I started a Kanya on my own in Indranagar.
Wow, okay.
Early 1991. And so by the time I had this feeling of doing very beautiful salons, so I got an architect. Earlier, we were the architect, we were the color coordination, everything was us. Just got a carpenter to do all our salons, okay? Now I got an interior designer involved and made her do the drawings, made her do the renovation, give the plan and everything. And we started a very beautiful salon in Bangalore in 1991 or 2, I'm not too sure, and that just took off, people started coming and we moved few of our Chennai staff there and it was doing very well. Then what happened? Then I after some time moved out of Health and Glow, and I had only 1 standalone store of Kanya in Bangalore and 6 in Chennai. So 7. Then
why was that though? So why did you kind of then shrink the Bangalore operations?
Because I think it was a clash of interest, me having one of my own, and maybe I will open 2, 3. Maybe they thought. And so I
Yeah.
also was. And then later what happened was, then Vikram went into the airlines business after school. And then he worked there for 2 years and he didn't think it was very, he didn't want to be under the regular 9 to 5 job. That's what he says. But very young he went. So he came down and he said, Mom, you didn't make this business for me. Why don't you tell your sister? Why don't you tell my sister to take it over? She said, I was never even thought of being in Kanya. So why are you dragging me into this? So between the two of them, they said, no. This one said, Mom, you're doing a good job, but it's not made for me. What do I do in Kanya? He asked me. So he said, Vikram, but then what do I do? Sell it? And they said, no, wait. Then these two, one day they came back and they told me, listen, if you really allow us to do something which we like, maybe we can start something of our own taste. And they started talking to me and literally brainwashing me. And my daughter hadn't finished. And my daughter hadn't finished her graduation. Vikram at least had 3 or 4 years of work experience working in the airlines, and therefore he wanted to come and do something on his own. I never expected both of them to take up my business because they were in their own, doing their own things. And she was always wanting to get into media and all that, my daughter. And she wanted to do visual communication. Vikram, of course, had a very good job. So I thought he will just grow in that company and then become the big guy in the company. So finally, with great, again, investing money, where's the money? They are talking about hi-fi salon. By the time the children's thought process is different, I think by the time Aduna and Osh are already in the industry,
mid-90s. Yeah.
Savio's in the industry, so they are looking at that style of working, that style of salons and everything.
Yeah. Savio says hi, by the way. So Savio's watching and he also says hi.
Hey, Savio. Okay. So we started this bounce. So we thought of so many names, blah, 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 so many names. And suddenly Vikram said bounce. I said, Vikram, it works against my sentiment. Bounce is always about bouncing checks. He said, why can't you think of people bouncing in happiness? He said, you should think of people bouncing when they get a good haircut and go happily. Think about it like that. I was very, very sort of, mixed ideas. I said, really, you want to do it? And then he said, it's not a salon. It's going to be called a style lounge. I said, oh, great. So that's how it started. Bounce Style Lounge. They started 2004. Again, I gave them some of my talents. In the sense, by the time I had about 30, 40 staff. So all the young ones were working with me, and I thought they had a future and then they would like to do something like that. I sent about 5 or 6 from there, and they recruited, and they had a team of 8 to 10 people to start. And what they used to do is we had a small academy, and they used to conduct classes. Every evening, these kids would come. They'll bring the models from the colleges, cut, color, whatever they used to do for a good couple of months. They went to train. They went to Tony and Guy. They went to Sax Studio. They went to Vidal Sassoon.
Who did Vikram and
Pratna, both
in India or in London?
London.
They went to London training. Wow.
Both to Vidal Sassoon, Tony and Guy, and Pivot Point in Singapore. Sax also in London. Yes, at that time we had a lot of support from color companies to tell. They were very thrilled that 2 young entrepreneurs, young kids coming to the new kids on the block. So that's how it started, and then they did very well. First month, and so they were on the floor, literally cutting, coloring hair and doing things. And there was a team of very young generation, young kids. So it was like a talk of Chennai. Everybody say, hey, this is a new salon. And then they said, I think those are the kids of Latha Mohan who has Kanya. Oh, okay. And then they started saying, hey, when I used to enter their salon, I used to go pretty much every day to see that everything is on place, because earlier I used to go every day, then it becomes once or twice a week. So I used to see my clients sitting there and say, hey, what's happening? So they'll say, Latha, what is this? I said, this is my children's salon. Yeah, we are very happy. We'll come for our hair here, but we'll come to Kanya, okay? I said, totally all right.
They started stealing your clients.
So I said, Vikram and Pratna, you're poaching clients. He's saying, sorry, ma, try stopping them. They won't. They'll come back. I said, I'm not interested in doing that anyway. So
Yeah.
I started being recognized as Vikram and Pratna's mother. That was the highlight. People used to know me as Latha Mohan. Say, hey, those two guys, no, their mother is Latha Mohan there. I said, oh, could keep it. So it was a good journey. They had a very nice team. It was good. And that's how it all started. In 2005, they went to Bangalore. I don't even know in 1 year how they had the guts to enter Bangalore. But it was, they had this confidence they could do it. And they went to Bangalore in 2005.
This is just when like the whole kind of IT industry was starting in Bangalore as well, and Bangalore was starting to get a lot more.
Yes,
happening,
yes, but yes. Yeah. And then we are on that flagship of our mountains, Lavel Road. No, it's very good location.
Yeah, yeah.
And these guys rocked it and did well, grace of God. And then they were also, their thinking was very different, and very. Yeah. Very energetic, the salon used to be. Sabio has come and trained them. Najib has come and trained them. L'Oreal has trained them. Everybody has trained them. And they had a lot of knowledge and they had a good team. And they worked well. And they were, the whole scenario changed for the better. The salon was no more considered as a barber shop. There were young people, educated kids coming into the business. And there were many people who my children took inspiration from Osh and Adna. But other people took some inspiration from Vikram and Prarthana, and then they started putting their children in hairdressing schools. Wow. So that's how it evolved. Many of them are the second generation salon owners. Many children have gotten to this line, which is something nice.
Yeah, especially you're saying, so when you started in the early 80s, that you were really fighting a battle to, one, become an independent woman, a businesswoman, and in this profession that wasn't recognized. And we all know it was, back then it's more looked down upon. So it wasn't a kind of respectable profession. And then one generation later, you've helped transform the whole thinking.
10 years, 10 to 11 years, yeah.
Yeah, and especially in the South, and the South is so much more conservative, that you've managed to create that kind of change so quickly, in that environment.
Correct. It was pretty challenging, because sometimes depressing, sometimes overwhelming.
Many times. I remember I was telling Gurpreet and Blossom that this week, that when we first launched our professional beauty show in 2012 in December, we made every mistake we could. We chose December, we chose December wedding season, we chose Greater Noida, and there was nothing but cows on the road then. We did a 3-day show, and there was no metro. We had to get so many people by buses to come from Delhi into Noida. And I remember it was 3 weeks before our show, 2 big clients pulled out. And I came back from Delhi crying. And I got home, my wife picked me up, and I said, I'm ready to go back. I said, I'm fed up of India. I'm ready to just give it all up, forget the show, forget the business, and go home. It's just too hard. And I remember just when we did that first show, I don't know if you remember, we tried to do a spa conference, and there were like 10 people there. And it was like you and Rekha. It was such a disaster. Yes. But you were there saying,
I don't know whether you remember, I said, because don't give up. Don't give up. This will happen. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Like, it's only because of, people like you and Gurpreet and Blossom back then and even when we've had many more challenges, you just kept saying, keep going, you're on the right track. So sometimes you don't know if you're on the right track or not. All you see is the challenge, the headaches, breakdowns. But you need that support structure, motivation, also to come from others to keep you going. Even if you think you're doing something crazy and wrong, you need that support structure to keep showing you the way. So I really want to thank you as well. Thank you again for all the support you've given us.
Yes, Vikas. What are the questions you have for me?
So what are the kind of biggest challenge? You've been in the industry coming 40 years. Obviously, there's people that are new to the industry. For them, this lockdown is challenging, right? Which it is. But you've been through so many challenges, struggles, and this is another one. What is it that we need at the moment as a community to kind of really get through this? We will get through it. It's going to take a few months, a bit of time. But what do you see? What do we need to do at the moment to get through this one?
This is something that none of us expected. A lockdown for 2 months or more than that. Also, it's going to be, we don't know. So I think it's easy to say, but we all have to, we are all in the same game. We all are in the same boat. So it's inevitable. We can't avoid it, but it's going to be a challenge. Don't don't give up, because something like built for 35, 40 years is not easy to just give up. It's really sometimes sad that suddenly you're not working for about almost 2 months and you'll have to take care of your entire salon staff. It's not easy, but then what to do? It's not our fault. It happened and we all have to come out of it. So I think we have to stay strong. Yes, get a bit conservative in the way we are doing business, probably. But as of now, we are holding on to everything. We're not leaving anything off. We're keeping our staff. We are trying to do the best, whatever we can. Maybe, what do you think? Another 2 months, at least, to get salons?
I think I'm always kind of, I think, unpractical in my thinking. So I'm always trying to be more aggressive. But I think by next month, we should be opening up. Like you've seen Goa open up. Sri Lanka is opening up next week. So Naina's done an amazing job pushing the government, pushing the health ministry to open up in Sri Lanka. So she's been meeting. Yeah. She's a super strong, another one. And we're talking to her on next Friday, actually. Okay. But she has pushed the government there to open up. So she said they're opening up next week. So I think we can't continue to keep the economy locked down, because even while our cases rise, I think our death rate is very low. It's 3%. So we've had less than 2,000 deaths on a population of 1.3 billion. We would probably see more people dying through starvation and the lockdown than COVID. So I think we actually have to, by next month, have to just get back to working and get back to normal and just live with the situation and be more cautious in how we go about our life. But the economic impact is far greater than the lockdown. That's what my personal view is. So I think
pretty much on the same page, because I think my only thing is I somehow feel we're going back to the drawing board and start reviving the whole thing again. And it's going to be a new way of handling the business. So many challenges. You have to be very, very cautious. But we'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
It is. It's like when you've had the 9/11 terror attacks and 26/11 here, and then hotels started putting their security systems in place. Airports got more stricter. So I think it will become, especially in the short term, we'll be more cautious going into restaurants, salons and that. I think eventually once the vaccine's out, some of that will drop away, because it's quite expensive to keep having, thermometers is also a waste of time in the end, because you can't, if you're asymptomatic, it's not going to show up. So I think eventually in the short term, we'll see these changes and everyone's paranoid about health and safety, sanitizers, etc., masks. Eventually it will drop off, whether that's 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, that will drop off and we'll get back to normal.
And the vaccine should
I
come.
think so.
the vaccine come out.
Yeah, the vaccine will be there, and it will be like how we live with malaria and typhoid and jaundice. We know that it's there all the time, and we just know that it's there. We get our medication, we sit at home resting, etc. But I think what do you think? Because you've been through creating an industry from scratch in Chennai, to then the kids coming in and creating a whole new kind of more bouncier segment for the South. So you've seen this industry change so much in 30, 40 years. Putting aside the lockdown, right? So the lockdown is here, and it will impact us for the next 3, 4, 6, 10 months. What do you think are some of the exciting things the industry can look forward to once this is over, right? Because you said like Auden, the Be Blunt team came, and Savio came in the 90s, L'Oreal came in a big way, and it has changed a lot. Godrej from the 80s consumer brand is now Godrej Professional with great color brands as well. So what do you think are the kind of exciting things the community can look forward to over the next, say, 10 years, this next decade, 2020?
Tough question at this moment of time.
Tough. That's fine. You're a tough woman, so I know you'll have some answers.
No, I think, we have to build the trust in our clients. We got to tell them that we are on it. We are there for you. We will make sure that we will ensure your safety, which I need my team to assure me to. And I really need to take a pledge from that on that, telling them that we will follow, because we are willing to do everything we can to support the back end, but they are the ones who directly deal. I can't look at 30 shops at the same time. So that trust has to be built, and they need to understand that this is serious. It is not going to. And I think by now everybody has understood to a great extent that it is a issue that if they don't handle it, we are in big trouble. So we are preparing them for it. We are preparing. What is exciting is, yes, but for some time, maybe new things, we may not be introducing it for the next 6 to 8 months, because you know how it works. We don't have time to spend on training and investing on a new thing. But whatever we do, probably we'll only be doing essential treatments in the beginning and slowly build up, because I don't see it's going to all happen overnight. Slowly, the client will have to build the trust and say, hey, we went there and they're doing a good job. They care for us. That is what I want to reinforce into my clients. So by word of mouth, they say it's a safer place. Probably I could get more clients saying that this salon is more clean than the other salon they're following. That's another way of it.
Yeah, I do. I actually, we were chatting to Gurpreet yesterday as well. And whichever community I talk to, so obviously we work with beauty, I work in other sectors as well, even lawyers. And I think what will happen in the immediate term is what we call a flight to quality. So customers, you said, are going to be very cautious. They're not going to risk saving some money at some salon that they're not sure about. They are going to go to the quality. They're going to go to the quality salons that they can trust with their eyes closed. So I think it's a great opportunity for the existing brands that are built a very strong culture, ethos, reputation as a great hygienic salon, clean salon, professional, good practices. I think those will come back very strong in the shorter term. The ones that don't have those kind of practices or reputation, they'll have to really, they'll face a tough fight. And then, which in one way is good for the industry, because there's a lot of practices that, we're not known as a hygienic community, right? The Indian beauty wellness community it's not known for hygiene, cleanliness. That's not one of its strengths. So I think it's a great time for the industry to come together, especially the guys at the top, the top 50, 100 salons as a community, to say, look, the rest of us, the other 5-6 lakh salons, that because your reputation depends on them as well. How do we get those 5-6 lakhs to really up their game, learn about hygiene, better training, better practices? I think that's when the community should come together. And one is, you're thinking about yourself, but you've got to look at the 5-6 lakhs run by more uneducated people. English is not their first language. I think that's where the focus lies. And then we could then shift the whole industry's reputation, which I think will take time. But now is the right time to focus as a community on driving standards across the board.
That's what I keep reinforcing to my staff. If you're here, now you'll have to go there. Go raise your standards, raise the bar, get more conscious about what you're doing every step, because your client is watching. She's so careful. She wants to see any move of you will disturb her. So I've been trying to say, and that is the way you have to hold your clients. Give service and cleanliness. Give the best service and give the cleanliness which we train you. Just follow what we train you. Don't dilute it. Don't add. Don't reduce. Don't add anything. Exactly follow the protocols once you're open. And yes, we have to wait and watch, but we are ready to face it.
Very good. And then after that, what next? Because obviously I know, like in the last year or so, like Vikram set up his you've got your eco-friendly, sustainable salons as well, which is great.
He's so passionate about that.
Yes, but, which is great, because it is the need of the hour. Because I think also this lockdown teaches us that as a global community or humanity, we've been on the wrong track, actually. That too much consumerism, too much flying around the world. We've done a lot of damage to the environment. So while we are struggling as people, the world and Earth is doing much better, because it's, the pollution levels are dropped.
You can see birds.
It's healing. You can hear them. The world is healing. So, and I think it's great that you're one of the first chains to fully look at, okay, how do we do a 100% eco-friendly Salon.
100% credit to Vikram, because he has been putting that idea point by point, working, talking to people, getting advice from companies. And I think, and also in our existing salons, which were not 100% like the eco salon, we have made many changes internally, you know, tried to put, made water, the drinking water, change the nozzles of the taps, lighting, using LED lamps, less power consumption, putting in exhaust fans where chemical treatments are done, only one service at a time. He has put in so many practices, like you finish one client and then only take a 9 client. 2 services of chemicals like cysteine or anything cannot go on in the salon. That is the standard rule of our company. Ever after this concept of trying to save or sustain, it is not like earlier we used to do 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in the busy salons. Maybe every alternate chair is having chemical treatments. Now we are not allowed to do. Once you get one finished, then only you can take the other, and it has to be done specifically on those 2 chairs where the exhaust is. So it's put on and the windows open, and only on those 2 chairs you work on those treatments. We can't so totally eradicate it. We did lose a lot of business.
You're turning customers away.
Business, but we said somewhere we have to start.
Yeah.
So
a lot of credit, because that's not easy. They're not easy decisions.
Easy. And there are sometimes my staff say, "Ma'am, we can manage," but he said, "We are talking for you guys. Why are you saying you all can manage? We don't want to do it. So what's your problem?" I mean, because says, "I don't want to do it for the safety of you also. You put the mask or anything, when the client is there, the other client. Let's do one at a time." That also after so much pressure from the client. So we will slowly, we are trying to change in many ways. We don't serve bottled waters. We give RO water. Then we don't, trying to reduce on the plastic, water wastage, power wastage, and making wherever we can do solar panels. We've started trying to put them.
So you're now putting that across the whole group. So not just
wherever
across
there is
everywhere.
Exhaust fans in specific areas for chemical treatments. Almost all the salons have come through that.
Even your kanyas, everything.
Oh, even the kanyas have got it. And trying to put solar wherever we can. I think 3 to 4 salons. You need that space and things like that. We couldn't fulfill it. So 3 or 4 salons, we did it after our eco salon. RO water, all the salons. Disposables and those type of things across the salons. So all these little things, most of the things we have followed in the eco salon. We couldn't put it into the other ones, but we have changed at least 3-4 things, which is possible.
And Vikram's done that from scratch, because I think there's not many guidelines or places you can go and find information about creating.
I think he has been doing a lot of reading, talking to Mr. Bulati and getting his advice also. A lot of inputs from him. David Bulati has put in. I think we can give credit a lot to him, because Vikram really liked the way they were running their business.
I know. He talks a lot about even their head office in Italy, and that it's sustainable in itself.
It has really made a big change and impact on him. And I think he says that's the way we all should work towards. We do have our own little bit of, sometimes I don't say, "It's impossible, we can't do that." He said, "Now, Mom, leave it to me. We have to do it. It's the need of the hour." So these things happen in the business. Because he says, "I want to change this. I want to." I said, "It's not possible across." He said, "At least where we can, let's start implementing, you know." So most of the salons, like 3-4 salons, we have made it solar control, where we get the space on the terrace and where the landlords are allowing. Some landlords don't allow us to put it up because we are taking their space and things like that. Space issues, because we didn't plan it when we took the place, right?
Yeah.
In future, 90% if and when we open salons, we will look to replicating all these things as much as possible. Wow. It is somewhere we have to start. But and you must come and see our eco salon, okay? It's very, very nice.
No, I'd love to actually. I mean, once we're allowed to fly in that.
Recycled furniture, a lot of recycled furniture, old furniture, turned around.
So, and where do you get that from? Because there can't be many suppliers.
But we took
I don't know. How are you figuring it out?
Old furniture shop brought it. Then he made seating with the train thing, reapers, what do you call it? When the train runs, the wooden planks.
Yeah.
All the waiting areas made in benches out of that. And there is a store that sells all the lampshades made out of banana fiber. So he used all those. So many little things which, and all his partitions, he stopped using particle board and wood. He made it between two grills and put some sort of a colorful stone in between to sort of give the privacy as well as make it into partitions. So all these little ideas, and all the nozzles of the taps have been into adjusted for to use less water. These things are been incorporated. I hope we are able to replicate it in other salons to the best of our.
Yeah. So is there a message you want to give to the brands, like your supply side? Because obviously they're very focused on the products and furniture, etc. You work with many of the top brands, distributors in the country. Any message you want to give them? Like if you're saying, look, we as a group are going to go as eco-friendly, sustainable as possible, and we still don't have many in India that are kind of environmentally friendly brands. So what kind of message do you want to say to that community with regards to what they should be doing to change their product line, how they operate?
I think they can do a lot because they are big players, I'm sure, and help us to get the right knowledge and the platform to do it. I think they can help. We are all of their partners, so they can, like, for us, we got a lot of inputs from Italy to do the salon. Their architect, their consultant, we're all in touch, and Vikram was bouncing off ideas. They were giving him ideas. So we, I'm sure, can get experts to give us these, our local, our color companies and cosmetic companies. Also, to a great extent, their products are going to that side, right? You must have seen quite a lot of brands are coming up with more friendly to nature, friendly to human skin and everything. They're trying to also get that path, because I think that's going to be the path. Don't many brands.
I'm just cutting up, I think. Hi, just keep talking because I think I'm cutting up.
No, I think
we're seeing, like I said, I know, like I said, Davines is here, Rika's here. We're seeing a couple, but I don't think we're seeing the wave. We're not seeing the wave yet. So you're one of the first groups that I've heard of looking at how do we really go eco-friendly as sustainable as possible. So I think the more that the big, powerful salons do that, the more demand there is, the more the supply side has to react to it. But we're not seeing, I haven't seen that kind of wave yet. So that's why I want to kind of get you to push them.
No, what I'm trying to say there, because even if we get support from these big companies and everything, you want to do it is something very important. Do you want to go that way is very important.
Yeah.
How many of us think like that is very important. I don't know how many of us think like that. Maybe partly, but not everybody wants to take the truth, like, take the chance and do it. And actually, this eco-friendly salon works out to be more expensive in doing a eco-friendly.
It will. It will cost you much more in the short.
Yeah, it does. It does cost much more than doing the regular salons. So,
are you able to command a premium for your services in those ones? Because obviously, it is a lot more expensive to go in the short term, at least. But can you command that premium?
But we haven't done it as yet. No.
You haven't pushed the premium on? Okay.
No. We haven't done it. It's the same price. But of course, we have stuck to only few brands that are supporting this. Even the skincare, even in the body, everything we're trying to in that particular outlet, and all the disposables. There we don't have any fabric towels. It's all disposable towels. Now we'll have to incorporate it in all our salons.
I know. And I think that's maybe where then you've got to work with the supply side partnership community to say, look, this is what Bounce are doing. And also you might then look at how do you work with your other salon peers, like the B Blunts, the JCBs, and say, look, how do can we drive this as building sustainably friendly, eco-friendly salon systems across the country?
They all love the concept. They all respect the concept.
But then you work with your partners to get the price down, so it becomes easier to kind of replicate those models. Because one person, like you doing it by yourself, Vikram doing it by himself is a big challenge, and it's becomes more expensive in the short term, like you said. I think it's then how do we come together as a community? And I think, and it's really important right now because obviously with this lockdown, disposables, we could by accident become a lot more environmentally unfriendly because we're going to use monodoses, sustainable, disposables nonstop. That we could actually do a lot more damage in the short term, trying to be safer.
On the other side, trying to be more hygienic, we are accumulating more of, waste, dumping more of waste in the. It's all a big cycle, huh?
It is.
It's a big circle.
I know. Before we wrap up, how is it working with the kids? Because obviously, before you were a powerful solo woman running this all by yourself. Kids come in, and and your kids are also powerhouses. So, how is it like their moms? So I know it's probably better. They're in Bangalore, you're in Chennai, so at least you are conquering independently there. But
we do have our difference of opinion, but of late I have tried to say that you guys go ahead. I'm getting backing off. But let me tell you, my son always says, children can take up the dad's profession, but nobody takes up the mom's profession. Boys don't take up the mom. And he says, you're a difficult boss. So we have our own. But it's okay. But I understand a lot of things which he talks is this vision, but I sometimes say, Vikram, is it practical? We need to think about it. He said, there's nothing to think. We have to make it. We have to look at those angles. So these type of things we have. But ultimately, when I see the appreciation he gets, I say that, come on, this guy has done his job. So he needs to be appreciated and go ahead and encouraged. Yeah. So I think we have our own, the flip side of it also is there.
Yeah, like you were a visionary, for your time and what you created, and you've got another, son who's also a visionary. So I think you can't really stop them doing what they have to do.
I don't nowadays. I just tell him that you please keep doing it.
Yeah. He's probably going to say to you, "I'm bouncing." So
yes, nowadays he just says, "I'm doing it, Mom. I think I'm doing it with an intuition that it should be fine. So let me do it."
Yeah. Cool.
So it's okay. It's been nice, but at least I'm happy there's somebody to take over and take it and get better. Because earlier both of them are not going to be in the business.
I know. And I think it's good for the industry because, having good people in the industry always helps to drive its development. And I think especially at this time where you need the visionaries to really kind of stick together and get us out of this situation.
And we need all us to be as a body and sort of push it up. I hope we are successful. Hope we all come out of this and do well. That's all I want. More than anything, I want our staff also. I'm always thinking of those guys. They have to sustain. They have to live. They have to pass this also. It's it's quite a tough time. But we have to.
It's a tough time, I know. Yeah, to keep to support so many people.
Keep everyone balanced.
Yeah.
Any more questions for me?
No, I think we've gone over time, and it's been super talking to you. Thank you for taking Saturday out to be with us and be with the community.
Okay. Now we are on chutti, Anna. It's okay. Sitting at home.
I know.
I've been asked by many people to talk, but initially I was a little down. Now I said, there's no point in being down. Got to do it. Get up and move. I said.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks and a lovely.
Thank you very much, Latha ma'am.
And thank you very much for having me on board.
No, it's pleasure.
And I hope I added some value to the industry, and they will all be motivated. Guys, don't give up. We all have to go through it, but we'll come out of it. And all you need is to make sure that you do the practices and continue doing the practices, please. It's a good learning for all of us. We are all going to become much cleaner salons, much more hygienic salons, much more careful. Everything is going to get better. I feel like that. Let's take it like that. Okay.
Done.
All the best to everyone, and bye-bye.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Latha ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vikas. Thanks for having me there.